KwaZulu-Natal is the subtropical pearl of South Africa, with boundless landscapes stretching from southern Africa's highest peaks to the golden sands of the Indian Ocean. Lying within this beautiful scenery is a university that strives to inspire greatness. The University of KwaZulu-Natal is the largest contact university in sub-Saharan Africa and the premier university of African scholarship. We are ranked as one of the top 3 research-led universities in South Africa and amongst the top 3% of universities worldwide. UKZN has over 49,000 students across all disciplines and is home to some 3,000 international students from 82 countries. The university encourages and embraces diversity in all facets of the student experience and has pioneered the introduction of isiZulu as a module in all undergraduate degree programs. UKZN boasts 5 campuses based in 2 cities, Durban and Pietermaritzburg. There are 4 colleges spread over these 5 campuses: the College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science, the College of Health Sciences, the College of Humanities, and the College of Law and Management Studies. The College of Agriculture, Engineering and Science is at the forefront of innovation and technology. Sophisticated software that examines radiation in outer space, an innovative and affordable 3D printed prosthetic hand, and the development of drought and disease-resistant staple crops enabling food security in Africa are just 3 of the many groundbreaking developments from this college. The College of Health Sciences is a multi-professional institution spread across 3 of our 5 campuses. A gel that reduces the incidence of HIV and a skin patch that administers insulin without needles are just 2 of the many world firsts that have come from this college. The College of Humanities actively contributes to the intellectual development of the region through annual international and popular festivals such as Time of the Writer, Durban International Film Festival, Jomba Contemporary Dance Experience, and Poetry Africa. The College of Law and Management Studies produces specialized and accredited professionals in the field of law, accounting, marketing, financial management, human resources, public administration, and IT. Our world-class amenities include lecture halls, science labs, art and music studios, theaters, indoor and outdoor sports arenas, and dedicated training facilities. These facilities support sports across the full spectrum, accommodating both the beginner and the professional. Our student accommodation, whether in on or off-campus residences, offers students a welcoming home from home and a place to make lifelong friendships. At UKZN, we strongly believe that higher education should be accessible to all. Many students make financial sacrifices to come to university, and we offer several avenues to support our student population in this respect. Generous scholarships are available for top academic and sports achievers, whilst the university works closely with the National NSFAS Bursary and Loan Scheme and with other external donors and funders to assist students in need. To study at UKZN, students need to apply online through the Central Applications Office. It is important to gain the best grade 11 and grade 12 marks possible, as all UKZN degrees have minimum entrance and matric subject requirements, and competition for places is fierce. Visit our website to access more information on our various degree programs. Whatever you are interested in, you can be sure that we offer something for everyone. Some of our famous alumni include South Africa's Chief Justice Mogoeng Mogoeng, founder of Gift of the Givers, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, UN AIDS Special Ambassador, Professor Karesha Abdul Karim, South African cricket stars Jonty Rhodes and Sean Pollock, TV star and actress Jessica Nkosi, and South African musician Zakes Bantwini. Whether it's in the field of academics, sports, or arts and culture, UKZN is home to those who are looking for more than just a university, but a place that celebrates the student experience. Come study with us in the knowledge that you will emerge with a fully accredited and highly respected degree, your stepping stone to lifelong success.
The University of KwaZulu-Natal has the power to effect change. We see it as our responsibility to produce graduates who will not only change their own lives, but also the world around them. That is how we will continue to inspire greatness on the African continent.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor and joy that we welcome you to UKZN. Your presence gave us a moment of celebration and amid the distress brought on by the deadly COVID-19 pandemic. We welcome each and every one of you. Unfortunately, we had to do it online, but hopefully we will be welcoming you in person soon. I am sure that you are enthusiastic and cannot wait for you to start your studies or to start the semester with UKZN. Today has been made possible by the collective efforts of all of us, both students and staff. You are going to hear from a lot of our other stakeholders to give you what's going on, just to give you an understanding of what's going on at UKZN and how we can make your stay at UKZN smooth and enjoyable. We are very proud of welcoming you to the University of Choice, and we are very delighted that you have chosen UKZN to pursue your studies. We hope that we will meet obviously in person soon, just to also make sure that you know where everything is and you enjoy the campus life that we've had in the past few years. This year has been very difficult for all of us, and I can understand also you've experienced the same in your home countries as well. It hasn't been easy, but we are still here and trying to cope with the situation. So today, it's the beginning of a new chapter for you. We are here to assist you and to make sure that your education journey at UKZN becomes something that you'll be talking about for many years to come. A lot of hard work, as I said, and preparation has gone into making today possible. We have done everything in our power to make sure that the return to campus is smooth and that our staff and students remain safe. Various protocols and processes are in place to assist you. You will be hearing from various stakeholders within the campus and also from our medical aid provider. So they'll give you information to assist you or to empower you as much as possible to make sure that your study is seamless and effortless. So obviously, I mean, now and then you will have challenges, and obviously the international office is here for you. And we have ISOs who are going to be your go-to people on a daily basis when you need help with anything. So they will obviously, because of the situation at the moment, you'll have to make an appointment or do your consultation online until it's safe to actually meet in person. But they are here, phone call away, email. You will get to meet them during this program as well. As we welcome you back, we're welcoming you to UKZN, we also celebrate with you the enormous achievement that our university has been. Our university has recently been ranked among the top 400 best performing universities in the world. So take courage from this exceptional accolade and use it to affirm your commitment towards your studies, your goals, and your aspirations for the semester. Even though our country has recently moved to level 1 in its COVID-19 strategy, We remind you that health and safety protocol must continue to be strictly adhered to at all times. As a university, we have done everything we can to ensure the health and safety of those who return to campus in the past few weeks. Your safety and protection are a major priority for the university. So as I said, I mean, you'll get to hear about from the other departments what is about their programs, and also about your safety. We've got risk management, we've got people from housing. We're going to also hear from the library. The program is actually quite full, and you'll also get to see I think there's a virtual tour as well that has been planned, which is going to be coming towards the end of the program. You will also hear from one of our students about the international student experience, and there is also health and awareness and wellness from our medical aid people, and we also will hear from the student counseling as well today. So you have a full program for today, and I hope that you're going to enjoy the program. And again, welcome to UKZN, and thank you, colleagues, for joining us as well, those colleagues who are on the program, and looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day.
Welcome, everybody. As Norma has mentioned, you're most welcome to the University of KwaZulu-Natal. And she's mentioned that typically, we have this as an in-person event, but this year, due to the circumstances that face us or that we're facing, we're hosting our very first virtual orientation. What is important though is that, you're here, you've made it, and you're part of the UKZN family. We're happy to have you here with us. Norma has mentioned that we have a very full program, which is quite exciting as well, from the various departments in the institution, and they'll take you through what to expect in the couple of months to come. So let's get started. I understand that Mariam Jassat from Student Counselling in the College of Humanities is kicking us off with our program. Welcome, Mariam.
Good morning, Oliswa, and to all the panelists, and a very, very warm welcome. Okay, guys, so my name is Mariam Jassat. I'm from the Student Support Services Division within the College of Humanities, and I'm going to briefly take you through some of our services that's offered by our office. But just to let you know that each of the colleges have a student support services office as well. So basically today I'm going to be representing student support services across the university, but within College of AES, College of Law and Management, College of Health Sciences, there is a specific student support services that are there for students within that college. Okay, so what is it? What do we do at Student Support Services? Our core services: career counseling, personal counseling, academic counseling, and life skills development. And currently, given the fact that we are remote working, all of our services are done remotely. So we're offering, especially with regards to the last three, a lot of Zoom counseling sessions, telephone counseling sessions, email counseling sessions. And then with regards to life skills development, there's a whole host of webinars that each of the colleges are offering. And I'll talk to you about that just now. Okay, and as I understand, I think a lot of the international students are probably postgraduate students. I think we see a lot of the master's, PhD students in terms of international students, but there are undergrad students that we do see as well. But at various stage of your development as a student at university, You're very welcome to come in and chat to us about issues related to career counseling. So at entry, a lot of the issues that we'll deal with is study choice, degree choice, and then towards exit, which is when you're about to complete your degree, we're looking more at career development, career planning. How do you gear yourself up for the world of work? How do you prepare yourself for job interviews, for group assessment sessions, etc. So at different points, a student will see us related to issues regarding their future career and preparing for this future career and embarking on a future career. Okay, so personal counseling. Sometimes personal events affect our ability to concentrate and cope with our studies. At Student Support Services, we are all registered psychologists and can assist students with a range of personal concerns. So how does counseling help? It basically gives you the time and space to explore issues that are troubling you, worrying you, concerning you. So examples of personal issues that we deal with: adjustment to university and coming to a new country. It's a huge step, it's a huge leap, and you know, you may experience homesickness, you may feel lonely, there may be issues related to adjustment to the commune or the residence that you're living in. There may be relationship issues that come up because of long-term, the distance between your significant other and yourself. So you're very welcome to come in and chat to us with regards to any personal issues that are concerning you, troubling you. Other kind of common issues that we deal with is anxiety and depression, bereavement, loss in terms of death, but also loss in terms of, like I said, the distance in terms of a relationship that may have ended, etc. But there's a whole, you know, realm of issues that we deal with, but these are just some of the common issues. It's important to remember that counselors are not here to be able to give you answers or to make decisions for you. So we're not here to provide instant solutions, but we're here to listen and to aid in increasing awareness of yourself and your choice of possibilities. Please remember, to come for counseling takes a lot of courage, as it involves facing up to your difficulties and asking someone for help. Very important to remember, it's not a sign of weakness, but it's actually a sign of strength that you are taking steps to address any problems or issues you are experiencing. We usually offer up to 6 sessions per student, and they normally 45 minutes to an hour a week. With regards to academic counseling, we assist students with issues related to their academics and to their studies. So again, some of the common issues that we're dealing with are things like fear of failure, academic problems in terms of motivation and concentration, and looking at more effective study strategies. And I think in the past semester, in terms of remote studying and working from home, there were quite a few students that we are seeing in terms of adjusting to the new studying from home, in terms of motivation, because you're not in your familiar study environment, difficulties concentrating, studying from home. So these were some of the common academic issues that we are dealing with in terms of our individual counseling with students. Life skills development. So when we're on campus, we normally go out to classes where there are certain psychoeducational workshops that we will run in our classes with students. But like I said, from I think the 5th of October, within the College of Humanities, there's a whole range of webinars that are on offer for students. These are normally advertised on the university notice system, but the ADOs will also send out, the academic development officers also send out notices to students. It's also placed on Moodle, the list of webinars. All you need to do is register for one, and then you're welcome to attend any of the webinars. So there's a combination of support groups as well. So I know we're planning to run a support group for postgrad students, so masters and PhD students, because again, that's a huge adjustment in terms of working at that level. We have support groups for first-year students. We have support groups for student mothers. We've got an anxiety and depression support group. And then in terms of the webinars, we've got webinars looking at things like substance abuse, cyberbullying, adjustment to studying from home, etc. Within the College of AES and Law and Management, there are also different sort of webinars that they're running. I recall College of Law and Management had something on growth mindset, on mindfulness and anxiety. And likewise, the College of Agriculture and Engineering had a whole host of webinars that they were offering as well. Okay, so basically on this slide, it's telling you who the psychologists are for humanities on the Pietermaritzburg campus. It's myself, and I have two colleagues, Tracy Visser and Senyatso Oliphant. And then normally within our offices, we have administrative assistants as well. But if you go to the websites for student support services for each of your colleges, the psychologists for your colleges, their names will be listed there, as well as the person you can contact to try and help you set up an appointment. Again, if you're on campus, this is where we are located on the Pietermaritzburg campus. We're on the main campus, and our contact details. But again, like I said, this will be, I'm sure we can email you this information, but it's on our website as well. I'm just going to take you through some frequently asked questions in terms of counseling. A common question that we often get asked is, when should I seek counseling? It's important to recognize when you are having difficulties and seek help as soon as possible. So if you're having a hard time performing your usual daily routines, adjusting to changes you have recently experienced, or you find that something's been bothering you for a while, it's probably good to see someone. And oftentimes talking to a trained professional helps, and counseling can provide you with the support that you need. So again, just remember, when something's troubling you or bothering you, often with a lot of us, one of the things that we do is we want to talk to somebody. So we, we'll turn to our friends, or if there's a family member that we find that we're quite comfortable talking to, we either WhatsApp them or pick up the phone and have a chat to them. And so those support systems may be a little bit far for you at the moment, because you're in a different country. So just please remember that at Student Support Services, we are here. We are all trained professionals, and we're here to provide you with support. Do I have to pay to see a counselor or therapist? UKZN students are quite lucky because our sessions are all free for registered students. I know other universities, there's normally a minimal fee that the students pay, but for you at UKZN, it's free. Can you be seen for long-term therapy? So one of the things that I mentioned earlier on is we normally initially book a 4 to 6 sessions for students. Because of the number of students that are asked for our services, we normally try and have a limit. But if there's a need for longer term counseling, so over 6 sessions, that's a decision between you and your counselor. And in most cases, when there is a need, we will extend it to longer term therapy. There are situations when we will need to refer you to see a psychiatrist if need be, or to see a doctor if need be, and we will do that as well. Are your visits to student support services included in your academic record? Absolutely not. Our services are confidential. Do your professors or your parents or family members find out about that you've visited us? Again, not. The services are confidential. It is important to remember, though, that we are also bound by the Health Professions Council in South Africa. So there are situations that are normally quite serious situations where we may need to break confidentiality. And that is often cases where a student talks about hurting themselves. So we talk, in cases of suicide or homicide where they talk about hurting others. In those cases, we would need to break confidentiality. But it's often where it's discussed with the student first before we contact a family member or before we contact a health profession in terms of referral. Are you seen by different counselors? Generally, your subsequent appointments are with the same therapist you saw for your initial appointment, because part of the process of counseling is the relationship that you develop with your therapist. Okay, so again, how do you book an appointment? In order to access student support services, you can call us at the number on the screen, or you can email any of us. That's it from me in terms of student support services.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Are there any questions?
Yes. Mariam, tell me, as a student, if I want to request to see a counselor that I am comfortable with, for example, I'm not comfortable with a female counselor, I want to request for a male counselor, can I do so?
Yes, definitely.
Oh,
absolutely
okay.
Your choice.
Okay, thank you.
Our next speaker is from the University Library Services. Renee Damonse, please take us through what you offer at the library and what our students can also expect.
Good morning. I'm Renee Damonse. This is our URL to get to the library webpage. And this below that is our library catalog, but I'm going to show you that very soon. You may or may not know that there are 5 campuses of UKZN, and each campus has got a library or libraries. In the Pietermaritzburg library, Pietermaritzburg area, we've got the main library, which is on the main campus. We've got the Life Sciences Library, which is down Corbus Road, and we've got the Law Library, which is down Golf Road. There's also the University. Okay, so that's the main library there. That was our Life Sciences Library down Corbus Road and our Law Library down Golf Road. We've also got the Ellen Payton Center and Struggle Archives and the University Archives. You are welcome to use any of the libraries of UKZN, whether they're the Maritzburg libraries or any of the other campus libraries. There are procedures and processes to get books from other libraries, and I'll show you that in a minute. Right now, well, since March, because of the COVID epidemic, the libraries have been physically closed, but you are still getting access to all our electronic resources. So you can still use Sabinet, you can read newspapers via Press Reader, you can read some ebooks via databases like ProQuest. So all is not lost. But on the 5th of October, the libraries will be physically opening, mainly the main libraries, not the branch libraries. And we won't be opening for the normal hours. We used to be open 24 hours, including weekends. But because of our situation, we're only going to be open on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. We will not be open on the weekends, and we will not have our full complement of staff. You can contact us using our email addresses. You can contact us via Skype or Zoom as well. But I'm going to show you all those details soon. This is some of our staff. It's an old picture. That is me. It's an old picture because I did this very quickly. And just to show you that we do have security, this was one of the special days we were having. So we asked our security guy to please take a picture there. These are some of the other resources that you can find in the main library. We've got a multimedia classroom where we teach and train students how to use our databases. And for masters and PhD students and staff, we've got our research commons. Unfortunately, undergrad and honors students are not given access to the research commons. We've also got photocopy, printing, and scanning facilities within all of the libraries. Your student card is your library card, and the onus is on you to make sure you keep it safe. You will need that card to get access to the libraries because all the libraries are access controlled, so you need to tap your card to get access to the libraries. Your student card, you can also load money on it to be able to print. The library also has a code of conduct, and I'll show you where to find that. And then I'm going to come back for questions. But this is our library URL for the library page. This is our catalog. If you click on contact us, you would contact us using any of these options. And I'm also going to show you our library LibGuides. To get to the library page, you can click on the word library here. You can go via students or staff. You can go via support services. So either way, whichever way you choose to get to the library, you need to get to this page, and this is our library page. Or you can just type the URL, which is library.ukzn.ac.za. If you need to find out further information, there's About Us, and this tells you about the various libraries, and this tells you about the hours. But as you know, right now, we are not doing the 24 hours. Our various services, borrowing information, you might want to look at that because borrowing information will show you eventually when we open as normal, how many books you are able to take out. So if you are an undergrad student, you can take out 6 books for 14 days, 5 paper journals for 3 days, etc., etc. So you just need to go and look at all those things. The only time we charge you when there's money being dealt with is if you bring our books back late, if you damage our books, or if you lose our books. And there's also an admin fee charged, and you would need to pay at the finance cashiers, not at the library. We've also got the inter-campus loans. So as I said, you can use any of the items at any of the UKZN libraries. You would then click there and follow what you need to do from there. There's also interlibrary loans. So if UKZN does not have a particular item, you can follow the interlibrary loan procedures. I'm going back to our library page. There's also resources there that you could use. If you are going to use our resources off campus, you might want to go to resources and click here where it says off campus access. You would need to be a registered UKZN student or staff. It'll then ask you for your username and your password. It'll then allow you to use anything that UKZN pays for. So that's the off-campus access. Or if you go further down our page, the university suggests that you load on your device the VPN connection or Global Protect. It will then recognize you once you've loaded it. It'll ask you for your username and password. It'll then give you access to any of the UKZN resources. Databases will give you journal articles, and you can also get access to online newspapers. Open Scholarship, you can go and look at that. We've also got special collections. LibGuides, I think, is important for you. When there is no human to help you, we suggest you go to LibGuides. So I'm going to click on LibGuides quickly. If I click on it, it takes me here to this page. So all our guides are arranged by subject, and behind each of these hyperlinks, you'll get some sort of help. So sometimes you can go by subject, type, or owner. I'm on all guides. The reason I'm on all guides is because I want to show you way down on the bottom of the page is our UKZN online library training. So if you clicked on there, you'll be able to find information on help with any of these options. We can show you how to do referencing, the interlibrary loan I spoke about, how to use ebooks. From next week, the College of Humanities subject librarians will be running a training program. So I suggest that you click on here and look at the program. And even though you might not be from the College of Humanities, you might want to think about joining us, because you can then transfer whatever you learn to your other subjects, okay? So that was our lib guides. I'm going to just go back. And just to show you a particular lib guide, for instance, if you went to sociology and social policy, if you click on it, behind all of these tabs, you will find information showing you how to find information. That's me, Renee, and that's my colleague, Claudette. She's at the Howard College campus. Okay, I'm going back to our library page. So that was lib guides. We also suggest that you create for yourself a library account. If you go to this library account and you create a username and password for yourself, you will then in the future, whenever you use it, be able to see what items you've taken out on your name, and also what interlibrary loan transactions you have asked for, and what inter-campus transactions you have also asked for. Here's the contact us. So if you want to contact any of us, you will use any of these options. If I click on the subject librarian option, it is then arranged by subject. So if you were looking for help with accounting, you would speak to Abdul, for instance, if you were in Westville, and that's his email address. And if he was on campus, that would be his contact work number. So you can go through that list and seek assistance for any of the subjects that you might be needing help with. I'm going back to my library page. Okay, I think I've done a lot of this stuff. That's the interlibrary loan email that you would need to use. And there's also blogs that the library staff do. And if you also need further help, you can click on any of these videos that will help you further. Now I'm going to do a quick search for you. You can use any of these tabs. I suggest if you're using the iCatalog, you make sure that the iCatalog is clicked, because if you were searching there, you're going to get ebooks. So I like to go to advanced search. So I'm going to click on advanced search. And I'm going to search for a particular book. And the title of my book is Assignment Writing, and the author is Stein. So whatever you were looking for, you would put in your author and your title, and then you can go down and you can choose any of the options down the page or not. And then you would click your search button. You need to make sure that your spelling is correct. I'm going to click on search. Now this book, Assignment Writing, is a 2013 publication. We've got it in the paper format. In the paper format, we've also got it in what we call academic reserves. Academic reserves is a facility at the library where we keep books that are in high demand. These are the books that your lecturers have prescribed for you to be reading for your certain courses. So for right now, as I said, the library is still closed, but in normal times, these books are at the issue desks at the libraries, and it's called the Academic Reserves Collection. You can only use those books for 2 hours at a time, and you take them back, otherwise you get charged. But this book is also available electronically. It says view ebook. So all you then do is you click on view ebook. Now remember, in the beginning, you either logged on the off-campus route, or you have loaded VPN Global Connect, and then you'll get access. So this is an electronic book. I can download the book. I can look at the PDF. Whichever option you choose, you will use it. There's also options on the side here for you. I'm going to click on PDF just to show you that it does open. I hope it does open. That particular book is a one-user license, so only one person can use that particular book at a time. So you can see the book is actually opening and you can read it online. You will scroll, you can navigate using these, and you can use any of the options on the top here. Okay, I'm closing that. Going back to advanced search here. And I'm going to show you how to search. I'm clearing my screen, whatever was there. I'm going to show you how to search if you don't know the author and the title. So for instance, if you were looking for something on culture and you wanted to look for South Africa, okay, you need to change this title to keyword. Make sure your spelling is correct. Click on your search button. And the computer will then show you a result. This is a book. It tells you it's a print book, so you know what you've got in front of you. This one's also a print book. On the side, on the left-hand side, you can refine your results by any of the options there. You can say you're only looking for a certain subject, a certain author, etc., etc. For instance, if you only wanted journal articles, you can say I only want articles. And this is how you're going to be able to do your research if you are unable to come into the library. So wherever you see view full text, you will then be able to click on one of those articles. So I'm going to click on that one. And this is basically the same way that you'll be able to read newspaper articles, etc., etc. You can also read theses produced at UKZN for the last maybe 5 or 6 years online. So here's what I clicked on. I can navigate, going to the next page. I'm going to close that, and I'm taking you back to our library page. You can also go the resources route, databases A to Z. For instance, if you wanted to search maybe something like EBSCO, you can choose various databases from there or all of them. And if I put culture, whatever you put in there, click search. This is the way you're going to find journal articles using a database. EBSCO host, some of them don't give you full text. This one says PDF, which means if I click on it, I'm going to get the full text open in front of me. All you then need to do, there's your download button. If you wanted to print, there's your print option. Going back, some of these don't have a PDF like this one. It says check WorldCat Local, which means it's suggesting to you that you click on it and check to see if UKZN may have another supplier that might be supplying full text for you. Okay, so ProQuest may have access, but I'm not going to go into that now. Okay, going back to, completely out, back to my library. So I've done a very quick search for you, finding you both journals and books. The same process would happen if you're using ebooks. You can also use our Google Scholar. And I think I'm done. Thank you very much. Are there any questions?
Yes, thank you so much, Renee. We've got 2 questions for you. The first one is the opening of the libraries on the 5th of October, does it apply to all UKZN campuses or Pietermaritzburg only?
This is very, very new to me, and we just literally got all the information this morning. My understanding is that all UKZN libraries will be opening, main libraries, not branch libraries. So for instance, in Pietermaritzburg, only the main campus library, not the law library, and not the life sciences library. But I suppose as things change, they will open up.
All right. The second question is, will the research commons rooms be open for use during these times mentioned?
Okay. Presently, the research commons opened last week, Monday. Okay. So the research commons on all campuses are open 3 days, just like the libraries are going to be open, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Please bear in mind that although the buildings may be physically opening, we are still constrained by the government laws. So for instance, the research commons, I think it can take like 30 people in normal time. But because we've had to accommodate social distancing, etc., I think about 10 to 15 people are allowed in the research commons, and it will depend on the size of the libraries, how many people are physically allowed in.
Okay. Okay, great. Those are the only two questions that we have for you. So thank you very much for that informative presentation. Is there anything else, Nombos?
Yes, there is one more. There is one saying when logging into your library account, what do you use as your username and password? Because apparently she used a LAN password, it didn't work.
Okay, what you need to do is you need to go to that part where it says My Library Account. And if you go to the bottom of the page, if you've never used it before, you'll click on Set Reset Password. You will then be sent an email to your UKZN email. So please use your UKZN email for that. You'll then follow the prompts from there. It'll ask you to set up a password and username. If you choose to use your LAN username and password, that will be fine, as long as you remember what it is. But if you need further assistance, please feel free to contact us and one of us will assist you.
Okay, great. There's two more questions that just came through as well. Will all students have access to the main PMB campus library when it is open?
All students that have been given permission to come back on campus will be given access to the library. It's all determined by the size of the building. So for instance, the law library, I don't know how many people it can take. Let's say it can take 100 people. And I think the government law is 250 at most. So it all depends on the size of the building. So yes, anyone that's got permission to come onto campus will get access as long as their student card has been activated to give them access to the library.
Well, thank you very much, Renee, for that presentation. I'd like to call on our next speaker, Mr. Trevor Abrahams from our Risk Management Services on the Pietermaritzburg campus. Welcome, Mr. Abrahams.
Good morning to you all, or good afternoon at least, and especially to the students. Welcome to UKZN. I'm Trevor Abrahams from Risk Management Services, and I'm just going to give you a brief understanding of the department and basically how to keep yourself safe when you're on campus. Again, welcome. And let me start by saying to you that, first of all, we would need you to observe all the COVID-19 protocols at all the gates at all times. And whichever department that you go into, please observe those protocols of the COVID-19. I also want to just let you know that university is a weapon-free campus. So please, that is one thing that we also need to observe. No weapons on campus. It's also alcohol-free and illegal drugs not allowed on campus. A brief understanding of our department. We have 3 sections. The security and traffic department is the one, and these are RMS staff which are posted all over the campus and are in constant communication with our 24-hour control room. We and as we are posted in all these areas, so you may report any emergency or anything that you need to discuss. You could discuss it with them just to identify them. They identified by the navy blue trousers and a blue powder blue shirt, and they will always have their identification tags on them, which you could ask them to produce when you're dealing with them, so that you can have reference. When you report anything as well, please ask them for a reference number. We have a reporting system that generates a reference number, so so there's no ways they could deny that there was a report made, because you would have that reference number. The traffic section, we basically, the guys look after the vehicles and control vehicles on campus. And then we have the ID card office as well, which you would then have your ID card or ID tag made. Please, if that must be carried at all times and produced to any staff member or RMS staff member if requested. And if it is lost, please report it immediately, because you do not want your card used in a crime scene. If people are using your cards to get into offices to steal laptops and computers or whatever they may take, we will, once we have a look and we see if that card was used, you'll be responsible. So it's very important that you report a lost or stolen card. Investigations department, if for some reason your personal belongings has been stolen, we do then have the investigation department who would investigate and try and recover your stuff. We have safety, health and environment, and they're basically there to ensure the environment's safe and healthy for you. And you could also report all unsafe acts, conditions to RMS as well. Very importantly, any emergencies you can report to RMS, because they are open 24 hours. But importantly too, we have the emergency app for, you could find it on my UKZN. If you are in, and if it's actually geographed around or geomapped around the campus residences and the campus itself. If you have an Android phone, you'll be able to download it on your phone. And there's a button that you would press in an emergency. So if somebody, for example, is banging on your door and you're feeling scared, you press it, it would then come through to RMS, and RMS would immediately respond to the app. You then would have assistance immediately. The app itself will give you immediately, give you a call back to say, SMS to say that your emergency has been noted, and the RMS staff members within 2 minutes should respond to you to see what your emergency is. I just want to then give you some safety tips, what we'd like you to do when you're on campus or around campus, and it's just for you to observe and know your surrounding. If you are walking alone on campus, please do not walk in dark areas. In fact, if it's at night, try not to walk alone. RMS does have a escort service where you could call them and they would chaperone you from either the library to your residence, so that you're not walking alone. Try to walk in groups rather than walking alone. Stay in lit areas, well-traveled areas, avoid dark and isolated places. Know the location of the emergency phones or campus phones or public phones on the campus, so that you could be able to phone in an emergency. Where there is access control, please do not pop anything into the access door or gate to leave it open. If you find it like that, please remove it and report it to RMS. You guys are obviously from different countries, and you obviously want to go out at some time and socialize. If you want to do that, you're most welcome to come to RMS to find out which places are safe enough for you to go, because we do look into that and we'll see for you which place is safe that you can go and socialize. Don't just go out there socializing on your own in places that we know that it's not safe. So use our service with 24 hours, and we would advise you on where and where you cannot go. So having said that, please also have a look at our RMS website for any further information. And as I say again, our service is 24 hours. So use us at any time for anything. You could come into our offices, phone our offices, and ask. Rather be safe than sorry, and nothing that you ask is irrelevant, or we don't think that. So we'll try and help you with anything or any question that you have. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Trevor. Trevor, tell me, are students allowed to use alcohol or smoke on campus?
As I said in the beginning, it's alcohol-free campus. There's no alcohol allowed, no illegal drugs allowed on campus.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Mr. Abrahams. And as he has mentioned, please stay aware and be vigilant of your surroundings at all times. Your safety is important, so be aware, walk around with your friends if you have to. RMS is available to escort you if you are feeling unsafe, so please make use of those services. Are there numbers that you can also share with the students, Mr. Abrahams, or maybe you could share with Nomboso, and that she can share later on, that they can call as well?
All the numbers are on the RMS webpage, if you could use that.
Okay, great. Tabani, you are most welcome. Please go ahead with your presentation. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tabani. I should show my face to you. We are located here in the Pietermaritzburg campus. I will get to what I do for a living in just a bit, but for now, I'd like maybe just to highlight what the department looks like and what the services we provide. So in the organogram, we have the HOD, which is Mr. Mabaso, who's our head of department here in the PMB campus. And then you have me, the residence life coordinator, is second in charge. Then you have administrators for different residences who help with admissions and allocation of students. And then you have residence life. There you have the RLOs, which are res life officers, residence life officers. Then you have RAs, which are residence assistants. Those are people who help students with the implementation of rules or programs or any kind of assistance that students need after hours. Now, and then you have your A and B officers. Those people are located in different residences. They are assets and building officers. They offer services like looking out for maintenance, the health and wellness of the buildings, and all those kinds of things. So our department can be found in all campuses, in Westville, Edgewood, PMB, and Medical School in Howard. The mission of the department is to create a conducive environment for living and learning. So where residences are in academic spaces. Some students are happy to study at the comfort of their own rooms. They don't necessarily have to go to the library. So this is why we have a section in the department called the Residence Life Team. Now, before I get to that, how you apply to the department if you are a first year as an international student, or you're a new postgrad transferring from one institution to another. This process is open each year at the end of September. So this would be the right time to apply for accommodation for residents. Now, our offices are open currently, so I will give you the details who to contact in the end of the presentation. So you can come through at any time if you need assistance, or you can call the number I'm going to give you before the presentation is over. So however, before you occupy your space, you need to pay a deposit of 2,750, and that has to be accompanied with a proof that you have registered for the academic year, that you have paid your registration fee of 3,750. Now, once you've done that, we would also probably need proof of funding. Who is your donor or your sponsor or your bursar? And then so we know you will be able to afford your accommodation fees. Now, with regards to we offer different kinds of services so far as residences are concerned or accommodation is concerned. Usually we would have we have on-campus accommodation, and there we have about 4 residences on campus. The first one being William O'Brien's, which is a male-only residence that accommodates 363 students. And then you have Petrie. Petrie is divided as 4 blocks. You have Petrie Hags, you have Russell Eleanor Hall, you have Wilden Hall, and you have the Lodge. It's a female-only residence, and it accommodates about 417 students. Then you have Malherbe, which is mixed, both males and females, and it accommodates 426. And then you have your postgrad residence, which is Denison, with 570 in terms of capacity. That is the residence we usually use to accommodate our international students, because it's, well, better than others, and the buildings are beautiful, the maintenance is good, but we'll get to that maybe at another time. So once you've been allocated into the residence, once you've done all the preliminary things that you have to do in the beginning, you will have to assume or occupy your space. There you will meet your residence life officer, who supervises a team of about 4 or 5 people, depending on how many RAs we have in each residence, because it's not the same numbers. Then they will open your room for you, and they will give you rules to abide by, because we only can take you into the residence if you promise to comply with certain rules, because like I said in the beginning of the presentation, our spaces are academic spaces as well. So we have to make sure that, like Mr. Abrams was saying earlier, we do not anticipate or expect to see students drinking in the residence, smoking in public spaces. You're not allowed to bring unreported visitors. You're not allowed to sublet where you hire your room to somebody else. All those kinds of things, but the rule book will be there should you be taken for the year 2020. So we have residence life programs as well, depending again on who is occupying the space. Like for instance, in Denison, the programs will definitely be different from any other residence in the undergrad spaces, because Denison students are postgrads. They might need programs like how to write your proposal, how to do literature review, all those kinds of things. But in other spaces, you might find that there's substance abuse, maybe there's theft. So we have to come up with programs that address issues in that specific residence. And also students, if there's a need for a particular program, they can make a request. We make the funding available, and then we hire experts in the field to come and do a presentation to help students understand whatever subject they need to understand. Now, should you be found to be breaking the rules, obviously there are consequences for that behavior. You might be suspended from residence, you might be expelled, but there's a procedure that we follow for that. So I would advise that if you are keen on acquiring space for this, once you've been accepted for residence, you will meet a team in the residence you're allocated in, and that team is called the Res Life team. They are headed by the residence life officer, and they will help you with your admission. They will help you with moving of your things, and they'll give you a rule book of the rules to abide by. And yeah, and there are also, we have residence life programs, different kinds of programs depending on what is confronting the residents at the time, or maybe if there's an issue that needs to be addressed. But we talk on issues of substance abuse, on how to excel academically in the residence. We invite counselors to come through to teach students how to manage their time or how to study effectively. We also invite other people from in the business world to come and teach about financial literacy and all those kinds of things. We also invite a lot of other stakeholders on various issues, including GBV, to bring about awareness on issues confronting our society and our country, especially our campus. But should you be interested in applying for residence, the applications are open now. You can, also, do you have our details there with you, so maybe you can disperse them?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, please, can you share those with everybody who might be interested in applying for accommodation?
Sure, will do.
All right. I don't know if I'm leaving any important information, but the applications are open now for anyone who wants to apply for accommodation, provided that we do have space, but we do reserve a certain number of spaces for international students. So, but should you need more information on our department and the other services we provide, you can kindly come through our office. We open at 9 until 4:30 every day.
We've got a few questions already. The first one is, how much are the residence fees per semester for international students?
Okay, so the first semester is a bit longer than the second semester, and we charge students per night, because if we were, for instance, it's 103 rands a night, so a month you are likely to pay something like 2008 or 2009. But to give you a figure for the first semester, because we count the number of days you occupy your space instead of a monthly rent. So if we were to calculate an estimate of the first semester fees in a normal room, because I think worth mentioning is that other rooms are larger than others. So in a normal room, you are likely to pay about 17,183 rand 60. And for the second semester, it would be 16,166 rand 15 cents. So that's a normal room. So in a large room, the first semester would be an estimate of 18,848 rand, and the second semester would be 17,732. So usually these rooms are in the postgrad residences, because other rooms in the undergrad spaces are just normal and standard.
Okay. Okay, great. Another question is, how much is accommodation for a PhD student? Is there a difference?
Oh, no. There's no difference. If you occupy any of our spaces, we charge you the same as we charge other students. Should it happen that maybe you apply for accommodation and you do not have a space on campus, but there is a space off campus, we might allocate you there, but we do provide transport services for that. So when we give you space, we also give you the bus timetable, so you know what times the bus travels. Yeah.
Okay, great. Another student is asking, how safe is it? I'm guessing it's at res. Is it safe for students to be on res?
Okay. In that regard, we work in collaboration with risk management services. But the first thing you'd notice when you enter our spaces is that the access is controlled. It's regulated. There's a turnstile at the gate, and you have to swipe your card or scan it. That's the latest technology now. You scan your card for the gates to open, so you are granted access. And not more than just that, there are guards, security guards at every entry point. They do patrolling. Maybe the one guard might be sitting by the gate, controlling or regulating access, while the other one is patrolling the residence. We do have cameras in strategic positions as well to ensure that we spot any intruders or the residence is under surveillance, so that if there's an emergency, it could be attended promptly. But so far as safety and security is concerned, that is very much guaranteed. I think our spaces are one of the most safest spaces around Scottsville.
Okay, perfect. I've got one final question and they're asking, I struggled to get proof of accommodation in February, but I was unable to connect with the person responsible. So how do I get proof of accommodation for my visa process? Because I was unable to get that. Reason I was unable to travel.
Oh, okay. So by proof of accommodation, that means the student is already occupying the space.
I guess so, yes.
Oh yeah, so, well, you can come through to our office, but generally we've made it available, a service that is available online as well. If you go to Student Central, and once you've registered for RES and you've been charged for accommodation, you can go to Student Central, log in with your student details, and then go under proof of residence, and then you can print a copy there. Once you've printed out the copy, you can come through and we can put a stamp on it and sign it, so you can hand it or submit it wherever you want to.
All right, great. I've got another question that's come through. How safe is it for international students? For instance, if there's a riot at the university, will international students be catered for or found alternative places?
Well, that's a good question. Usually, when there's a riot, everyone who is working or is connected to the department usually is on site, depending where the riot is taking place. Say, for instance, a riot was taking place in Wong. The security, maybe the best person to have answered this would have been Mr. Abrams, but maybe he will tell you of all the protocols. But so far as residences are concerned, once a riot starts, we inform risk management services right away. Previously, we had one of a private security company called MI7 who was here to help disperse students or to put the crowd under control. So you would have a lot of security people or guards coming in, and they would make sure that the crowd is dispersed to make sure that whoever is within the residence or within their room is not affected. So, but Mr. Abrams would be in a better position to give an explanation on in terms of safety so far as protests are concerned, because there's a lot of procedure to be followed for that. And usually risk management services that ensures that our residences are safe during that time.
Okay, great. I've got another question that's come through. Do I need to pay for the residence before I get the proof of accommodation?
No. Yes, you have to pay the deposit of 2,750 just to secure your space, because we are not allowed to keep space for far too long, as auditors might not be happy with that, because it means, according to the books, it might mean we are losing revenue or we are playing around with space. So any student who needs accommodation, once they are offered a space, they need to pay the 2.750 to secure the space so that their name can be put under that room, so that that space is not given to anybody else. You don't have to pay the full amount, but you have to pay the deposit.
Tabani,
yes.
There's someone who wants to know if you allow visitors address, and Can you explain what is the difference between a visitor and a squatter?
Yes, we do allow visitors in the residence, but before you can have access to having a visitor coming over, you need to see your residence life assistant. By that time, you should be familiar with their flat numbers or where they stay in the residence. Go to them, you tell them you have a visitor, then they will give you a visitor's form. Then we take the details of your visitor down, because your visitor is you by extension. We've had many visitors who've come in the residence and they open people's refrigerators and they take people's food or whatever, because they do not understand the rules, or they don't think they should comply because they are visitors. So your visitor should be under your supervision at all times. They can't go to the laundry alone because they might take something. We're not saying, we've had visitors who've done that before, but you fill the visitor's form and then you let us know how long they're staying. The rules are a bit strict because you are not allowed to have your visitor more than 3 consecutive nights, right? Because that is to address the issue of squatting. Because if you are there more than a week, are you really a visitor, or you're now staying there? What if you're there for a month? So you can hide the name visitor, but we have
I can see there is one question. It says, can a PhD student stay with his or her child at rest?
Unfortunately, no student is allowed. Yeah, no student is allowed to stay with their child in the residence, unless you're a staff member who happens to be a residence life coordinator or a residence life officer, because those many people who happen to occupy those positions are mature people with families. So we do allow them to come. They're staff members, so we do allow them to come with their families and stay in whatever space they've been given, but only if you are staff. But as a student, you cannot live with your child. And also, if your child comes to visit, they have to be above 12 years old, just a safety and precautionary measure.
Thank you so much, Tabanya. Thank you very much for taking the time as well to be with us this afternoon.
Thank you so much. All right, thank you.
All right, I'd like to call on our next speaker, Ms. Debbie Pretorius, just to give you a brief overview on the health and wellness offers that are available for you while you're in the country.
Thank you very much, Sholiswa. Thank you very much for the opportunity, and welcome to the panelists, welcome to all the international students that have joined us today. The company that I work for, not really part of the UKZN directly, but a third-party organisation called Sameka Health, and we are a consulting company that is owned by the larger Sanlam Group. Some of you may have heard about the Sanlam Group. My name is Debbie Pretorius, and I essentially, together with a colleague of mine, Gishel Chetia, we take care of the students at UKZN with regards to medical aid issues. So just a couple of things that I would like to run through on the agenda. By way of introduction, first of all, who we are, Sameka Health. We are specialist healthcare consultants, or for want of a better word, medical aid consultants. Easier to understand that. And we've been appointed by IESA, which is the International Education Association of South Africa, as well as by UKZN, to assist both of them as well as their students, international students, with medical aid and with visa regulation compliance when it comes to the requirements for medical aid in South Africa. So what our main role is really just to assist you as the student with obtaining appropriate medical cover in the country. And we also just need to make sure that UKZN are also providing their students with appropriate medical aid cover. And we'll chat a little bit more on the next slide about that. One of the things that we take pride in, and we do this on an annual basis, is that together with the Education Association, we do what we call an annual evaluation of medical schemes that are offered here in South Africa. And then what we do is we make proposals to the universities with regards to which of those medical schemes we feel are going to be more suitable or appropriate for the students. And we base our recommendations mainly on a number of things, such as things like financial stability of that particular medical aid scheme. We look at things in terms of the cost, which is least important at this stage, but we also need to make sure that our students do have, sorry about that, can you still see my screen? Hello?
Yes, Debbie, we can.
Can you, sorry, I had a little bit of an internet interruption there for a second. So we look at costs, we look at what sort of benefits are offered to the students by those particular medical schemes. And we also divulge into things like looking at hospital networks and doctors that are available to the students in close proximity to the residences and the universities. So we take pride in having a look at that, and as I said, the financials of a medical scheme is very, very important. And also two other important things is, as I said, cost is the least important when we're evaluating, but when it comes to the international student market, cost is actually one of the things that we need to take into account to ensure that you are able to purchase affordable private healthcare in South Africa at a much lower or reduced rate than what the South African population would be able to purchase the medical aid for. And I'll share some examples of that with you as well. And then also what we have at SAMECA is we work alongside with the medical schemes that we have appointed and that UKZN have appointed. We also have our own dedicated help desk at SAMECA Health to assist students just with guiding them in respect of choosing the right medical aid. And then also as you're going along, if you encounter any problems with the medical aid, we're there to hold your hand and make sure that we get you the appropriate treatment and that your medical aid claims and the doctors are paid as they should be according to your medical aid scheme. So the question that always arises from the international students is, why do we have to belong to a South African medical scheme? If I'm living in a neighboring country like Zimbabwe, for example, or Swaziland, and I've already got medical insurance or medical cover there, why is that not appropriate? Why, in addition to that, would I still need a South African medical scheme? So the reason for this is that the Immigration Act is quite clear in this country, and part of that act stipulates that all international students that come to study here in this country have to comply with the visa regulations. And one of those visa regulations is that students need to provide proof of medical cover up front, and it has to be renewed annually for the full duration of that study visa. So if you are studying for 6 months or if you're studying for 12 months, you need to make sure that you have purchased a South African medical aid scheme that's recognized by UKZN, and that you've paid for those 6 months or 12 months in that particular study year. And it's very important to note that regardless of whether you are studying here or if you're sitting outside of the country but studying via UKZN, etc., it's just part of that visa regulation that stipulates you have to have a South African medical aid scheme. So if you are studying here and then you leave the country for 2 months to go back home, but you're still registered at UKZN for the duration of that year, you cannot cancel that medical aid scheme for that 2-month period and expect to get a refund. And that is not a rule that was put in place by UKZN or any of the medical schemes that are on offer to you as students. It is simply part of the visa regulations and the Immigration Act. And the Department of Home Affairs are very, very strict about this. And you know, if they do audits at the universities and they find that the universities are not compliant, and that there are international students that do not have a medical scheme, that's a South African one, the university can get into serious trouble and face fines, etc., etc. So it's very, very important to ensure that they are compliant with that. And that is where we step in and we assist with those to check that the students are registered. The 2 medical schemes that are available to UKZN students at this point in time and have been for a number of years now. First one is Momentum Health, and they have an option called the Ingwe option. The cost currently for that option is 439 Rand per month on the Momentum option. The second option available is called CompCare. It is referred to as the network option on the CompCare range, and that comes in at 435 Rand per month, slightly cheaper than the Momentum offering. But I can tell you that both of these medical aid schemes offer very, very good comprehensive cover when it comes to both in and out of hospital benefits. You can actually get a lot more detail if you go onto the university's website and you have a look at the medical scheme comparisons that are there, that we have placed there on the 2 different schemes. But just to give you a brief idea of the type of benefits that are available to you as students. So let's just talk a little bit about this. First of all, both the Momentum and the CompCare option for international students are what we refer to as network options. So you'll see on my slide there, I talk about networks that must be used. When we talk about networks, basically what it is that the medical aid schemes have put in place a network of hospitals and a network of doctors and pharmacies, for example, on these particular options that the students need to make use of. You will not be able to access a doctor or a general practitioner or a specialist, for example, if they are not part of the medical scheme network of doctors. The reason why Momentum and CompCare have negotiated or have introduced these networks is because they have successfully managed to negotiate some quite substantial discounts with the hospitals and the doctors in respect of the students that take out these medical aid options. So for example, where you might normally, the medical scheme might normally have to pay 800 Rand for somebody to see a general practitioner on the normal medical aid schemes, here they would have negotiated a price of, let's say, for example, 400 Rand, half the price, for an international student on these particular options. And the reason they do that is to keep your overall monthly contribution to a minimum. Remember, I said the costs of these medical schemes for the students is in the region of 435, 439 Rand a month. If you were not on a network option for similar type of benefits on any other medical aid in South Africa, to give you an example, you're probably going to be looking at about 1,800 Rand plus per month. If you wanted to just buy a normal hospital plan that didn't give you any doctor's visits and out-of-hospital benefits, you would still be looking at a contribution monthly of around about 1,200 Rand a month. So there is a reason for the strictness in terms of the networks that need to be used. Having said that, you are provided, however, with the best access to all our private hospitals and our doctors in the country, although you are on the network option. So if we look at your in-hospital benefits, where you maybe have to be admitted to have surgery, or maybe you're just not well and you need to be admitted for a couple of days, etc. Even now with this whole COVID pandemic happening as well, the students have had very, very good cover for that, just like anybody else would have had on other medical aid options. So you will have access on both medical aids to all the private hospitals that are listed in our country. The difference here between private and public hospitals, when I talk about that, I refer to our state-owned or government hospitals. The difference is huge in comparison. South Africa do not have very well run or decent public facilities. We are still struggling to get a national health insurance product in place due to the large number of people in our population and due to lack of funding as well. So, you know, if you had to compare, our private hospitals are very, very well run. You have the top doctors, top specialists, etc. Whereas the public hospitals don't always have appropriate doctors, facilities, etc. For the public. And sometimes if you're waiting for a procedure, you might have to wait a couple of months on the waiting list before you can even have something done, even if it's an urgent procedure that you need to have done. So the private hospitals, yeah, are far, I think, some of the best in the world, according to the World Health Organization. And you can rest assured that you've got very, very good cover at our private hospital facilities. On both the medical aid schemes, your hospitalization is unlimited, so it doesn't matter how long you need to stay in those hospitals. Your cover it will be put in place. There is also a benefit in hospital for take-home medicine. So if you're now discharged from hospital, sometimes your doctor or specialist would like to send you home with some antibiotics or some tablets. And the medical aids, both of them will pay for up to 7 days worth of medication from the actual in-hospital benefit. Very important to note, though, that if anybody would like to or needs to, not would like to, I don't think any of us would ordinarily like to go to hospital, but if we need to go to hospital for a procedure, even if you need to visit a hospital just for a day procedure where the doctor books you in for 1 day, you don't necessarily have to stay in overnight. And even if you visit a casualty ward at a hospital, you do need to get what we call pre-authorization from your medical aid scheme. So either yourself or the doctor or the hospital would need to phone the medical aid first, just to check that you are on medical aid, and secondly, to ensure that you do have enough benefit available for whatever it is that the doctor's booking you into hospital for. So just remember, pre-authorization for any hospital event is a definite must. You have to do that. If you don't pre-authorize the event, it means that the medical aid scheme does not have to pay for your admission. So please just make sure that your doctor does get the authorization. Then secondly, moving on to out-of-hospital benefits, that is basically your day-to-day type of thing. So you've got a bit of a cough, you've got a flu, an ache and a pain here and there, and you just need to go and see a doctor. Again, you would be required to make use of one of the network GPs, short for general practitioner or doctor. Make sure that you are familiar with who the doctors are on whichever medical aid scheme you've chosen. So they will have lists on their website of the doctors. Have a look to see if you can find a doctor in a hospital that's in close proximity to your residence or your university, so that in the event that you do become ill, you have their contact details handy, and you can phone and go through for an appointment to see the doctor. So your things like your basic visits to the general practitioner, you don't have an annual limit. So if you get sick 10 or 20 times in the year, you can rest assured that you do have cover to see a doctor. You also have unlimited benefits for what we call formulary medication. Now, all of our medical aid schemes and options in South Africa operate on a formulary basis, where the medical aid schemes, together with the Medicines Control Council, would have a look at the different types of medicines to treat certain conditions. They look at the pricing, etc., and they draw up a suitable formulary of medicines. So if you are ill, two things can happen. When you go and visit your doctor will prescribe medication. If he is registered with a license to actually dispense medicines like a pharmacist would, that doctor will be able to give you your medication when you visit him. If that doctor has not got a license to dispense medication, the doctor will then write out a medicine prescription for you, which you will then take to one of the network pharmacies, which are normally we refer normally here to Dischem and Clicks pharmacies, but there are certain other pharmacies on the networks as well. Please familiarize yourself with those pharmacies so you know where to go. Also, the medication is unlimited, provided that doctor prescribes something that is on the medicine formulary. We have had some incidences where doctors have not stuck to the formulary, and for some reason they've prescribed an alternative medicine. The student gets to the pharmacy and the pharmacy says, no, it's not covered and you need to pay for it. So please always just make sure that you ask your doctor when he's writing out the script to make sure that he is prescribing you medication that you are allowed to use according to the medical aid formulary. That's very important. The next benefit that you have is also what we refer to as a specialist visit. Now, on both of the medical aid schemes, you will have a number of referrals, either 1 or 2 referrals, where your general practitioner, if he feels that he can't treat your medical condition and it's necessary for you to be referred to a specialist, the general practitioner will refer you to the specialist. He will get authorization from the medical aid scheme, refer you to the specialist, and you will also have access to be able to be treated by a specialist. But again, very, very important. Just remember, you need to also get pre-authorization for any specialist visit. So just make sure if your GP says, I'm going to send you off to see a specialist, ask him to please make sure that he phones the medical scheme and gets the authorization on your behalf. Also, any emergency visit to a doctor or a casualty ward, please just remember, if it's not a network doctor, you need to just get pre-authorization. And if you're not sure, it's easiest just to pick up that phone and get hold of either one of our consultants at Sameka or the medical aid scheme, and they will be able to assist you and help you to get that authorization if you're battling. All right, so that's just some of the out-of-hospital benefits. There are other things, if you read through the brochures in a bit more detail, that are covered in addition to these main benefits I'm talking to about here. Things like your dentistry, they cover on this option, on these 2 options, basic dentistry, meaning things like if you've got toothache and you need to see a dentist, the dentist can give you medication for that. He can do an extraction, he can do a filling, he can give you antibiotics if you may have something wrong with your tooth to treat it. That is what we refer to as basic dentistry. In fact, you can even go to the dentist just for a checkup and have your teeth cleaned, and the medical aid will cover that. But they don't pay for more advanced dentistry, meaning things like root canal treatment, if you want to put a gold tooth in, for example, you need to have a crown or a bridge in your mouth. These options, because of the lower cost and to keep your pricing down, they don't cover the fancy advanced dentistry. Okay, but it's enough to get a filling and to pull a tooth, etc. if you're in serious pain. Other things, optometry, you might wear contact lenses, you may wear a pair of spectacles. You do have cover on both the options for your optometry, where you can have an eye test every second year, and you can get a pair of glasses or contact lenses. If you need pathology and radiology, pathology meaning any blood tests, radiology, any x-rays, again, both medical aid schemes cover you for the basic pathology, radiology, and again, that will have to be on referral by either the GP or the specialist that you have been treated by. They will give you a form to fill out, and they will tell you where your nearest laboratory is where you can go and have those basic blood tests and x-rays done. And those are also on an unlimited annual basis, which is quite nice. The other benefit, which is of importance, is chronic medication. Chronic medication, this is something that differs to your normal formulary medication that I was talking about earlier on. So chronic medication is a list of chronic illnesses that you may have, whereby you would need to take medication on a daily basis for more than 3 months. So in South Africa, we have a list of what we call 27 prescribed minimum benefits, which is the terminology that our Council for Medical Schemes uses. If you suffer from any one of those 27 common chronic conditions, on these 2 medical aid schemes, your doctor will register you for the condition, and you will have all your chronic medication covered on an unlimited basis from that formulary as well. When we talk about a common chronic condition, it's things, your usual things like, for example, if you suffer from asthma, you may be a type 1 or 2 diabetic, you may have a heart condition, you may have HIV or AIDS. You know, those are the type of some examples of the list of 27 chronic conditions. So talk to your doctor about that. If you need ongoing medication, get yourself registered, and then you can get that medication covered on a monthly basis as well. And then,
sorry, Debbie.
Yes.
Hi, sorry, can I please just interrupt you for 2 seconds?
Yes, no problem.
We are running out of time, and we still have a few questions that you need to respond to.
Okay.
To be able to move on to your last slide.
Yes, I'm absolutely almost finished. Okay, so I just wanted to mention the repatriation benefit on both the medical aid schemes. The repatriation benefit, basically, it's not a nice thing, but if something should happen to you and you are deceased in this country, both medical aid schemes have a benefit whereby they will cover the cost of transporting your mortal remains back to your country of residence. Okay. The application process is pretty simple. You basically would do this all online now because of COVID, and pay obviously with your credit card. Medical aid cards will be sent to you via the post. We normally deliver those to the international office. That may change in the new year, but for the time being, because of COVID, cards will be posted to you. Okay, then my last slide is just some details that you can jot down as well. All of this information is on the website as well. And it's just the information on the different medical aid schemes, email addresses, should you have any queries. And then lastly, at the bottom, there is the Sameka help desk that you can phone. And then my colleague, Gashel, will also be happy to take any emails from you regarding any queries or advice that you may need before you take out your medical aid option. Okay, so in a nutshell, that is really medical aid. And I know we have run out of time, so yeah, I will take some questions if there are any. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Okay, great. Thanks, Debbie. The first question is, do we have Simega or Ingwe medical schemes in Zambia? If not, how can we have access to these services?
Okay, so we don't have Sameka, we don't have it in, those are South African, Sameka and Ingwe are South African medical aid schemes. So you, as I said, at this point in time, everything has to be done online via the intranet. So all the applications, etc., everything will have to be done via online, via the online. If you're studying at UKZN, you would need to take out one of those medical aid schemes.
Another question is, why do medical aid fees increase annually?
Okay, I think that's it's a good question, but remember, inflation goes up on an annual basis. Doctors put up these prices on an annual basis, and there's always that thing that the medical aid schemes have to take into account, which is the demand and supply side for new technology, etc., etc. So that is the reason why medical aid have to put up their prices, because they need to pay the doctors a higher fee every single year when they increase their fees as well.
Okay, great. International students are registered for health insurance and medical aid for the year 2020, but due to the pandemic lockdown, I could not travel to South Africa. Am I still expected to pay for another academic year?
Okay, so yeah, that is a question that I'm not 100% sure on, Nombuso. I don't know if you can perhaps answer that.
Yes, they're supposed to pay if they did not cancel their medical aid in advance.
Yes, that's correct. So if they didn't cancel the medical aid scheme, obviously they would need to pay. That is also my understanding of the way Momentum have explained it to me as well. That you have to cancel it in advance in order to get a refund. That you would then have to pay again if you haven't cancelled. That is my understanding for the new year.
Correct.
Somebody is also asking, if I don't use the medical aid the whole year, do I still have to pay the following year?
Yes, unfortunately, you would still need to pay for the following year, because medical aid is an insurance that you're purchasing for the duration, whether you use it or not. You know, it's like a car insurance, for example. You have to have that in advance, and if you don't crash your car in 12 months, you still have to continue paying while you need to insure your car. So unfortunately, yes, medical aid, you have to, it's something you have to pay on an annual basis, even if you don't claim, because all the money from all the students gets and the members get pooled together. You know, you may not have a claim this year, but the following year you might have a claim that costs R1 million, and then everybody's contributions are there to assist to pay for that high cost medical admission, for example.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you so much, Jay. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, everybody. Thanks, bye-bye.
I would like to call on Ronald, please, to just give us a brief talk about the Students' Association. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity. Well, I'd prepared something about the International Student Association, but perhaps before then, I think I need to talk about my research experience as a student, because I've been a student. I'm supposed to submit my work for examination in the next 1 or 2 months. And therefore, I just want to mention some few tips, and then I'll mention something to do with the International Student Associations. Now, I think for every student who's coming for a postgraduate degree, the very first thing that we need to do basically is just to read very widely on the research subject area, so as to be able to get an understanding how to go about the research, what other people have done, and get ideas that can give one a good grounding to start off the research. Again, the student, while doing that, they need to, have a very good relationship with the supervisor. And I think that is very cool, because if you don't have a good relationship with the supervisor, then it means you might not get the guidance that you require to get your studies to be completed. So it's very important to honor the appointment with the supervisors, also to try and work within the target with the supervisors. And of course, the experience can be at times challenging when a student starts on the actual research, because sometimes you don't get the results that you expect to get when you compare with the what other people have done. So I think in collaboration with the supervisor, the student should be able to get guidance and be able at times to modify the approach in order to be able to meet their targets. So just to add on that, yeah, because currently the trend is like research is by publication. So it's good for the student to be prepared to get quite a number of rejections when they submit their work to the journals or the conferences. So the manner in which as a student you handle your rejection or the response is very important, because in either way you need to remain, or the student need to be to remain very focused in addressing those concerns for them to complete their studies. Yeah, so now coming a bit to the International Student Association, this is for more or less of a support group where we've got kind of associations in all the campuses. I've got representatives from different countries where they engage in other activities like culture showcasing what they do. Sometimes we organize sporting events just to create a bond and to create forums where students can be able to interact with others and share experiences. And because UKZN is an international student, so we hope that by having this kind of activities and associations, students will be able to get the best experiences for them to be able to accomplish their academic goals. Therefore, I urge the students to be in touch with their country leaders. There are groups, WhatsApp groups. They join them for them to understand what goes on. And then there are groups, I believe, in all the campuses on the International Student Office. So the student can join the international student groups, and then they'll be able to get some communication. They can share with students their issues, and some questions actually can be even sorted by students among themselves, even without contacting the university or any other person. So it is important, therefore, for students to also engage outside the academic, to engage in all those kind of activities, for them to make the learning a more enriching experience. Otherwise, I think that's the matter I can share for now, and I welcome if there be another question. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you so much, Ronald. Thank you very much. I'd like to call on Steve as well to talk about the international student experience.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Steve. I'm an international student from the DRC. I've been with UKZN since my undergrad and currently doing my master's degree. We'll easily share today with our new students who are joining us. There's 5 key aspects that I came up with. The first one we're going to talk about quickly because we're running out of time will be the quality of teaching that is provided at UKZN, the physical learning environment, and the student voice. As Ronald said, students also have certain representatives, and the graduate outcomes once you have completed your degrees. At UKZN, we have different degrees that are given, and as a student, before you register at university, you obviously know what you want to achieve, what is the degree that you're targeting. And with the help of some lecturers and supervisors, you can easily get to know what will be given to you. We also have all sorts of learning resources that are available. As it was said, the library provides all the facilities and all the technicalities that are required for you to conduct your work. And most importantly, once you're conducting your work on campus, you have 24 hours facilities, especially before this time of COVID, we had 24 hours of access on campus. and security was guaranteed by the RMS department. They provide security on campus, and in case you're studying overnight as well, you can still request for personal security and they can drop you off in case you don't stay on campus. With our student experience life on campus, we have the International Student Office, which is there, and they usually provide with the leadership of the student association. They yearly provide certain activity whereby we come together and celebrate cultural functions. We have sporting event, and we all have life skills development as well. And all this is in order to make you feel at home, to accommodate you, and to help you in the way of supporting your academics as well. The international student as we are, we have representations as well, starting from our country chapters, whereby a certain group of people, for example, coming from Namibia, they form a Namibian club, which is under the umbrella of the International Student Association. And if you are coming from Namibia, for example, you shouldn't feel alone. You should join other Namibians who have been on campus before you, and they will help you to get through and to get accommodated on campus. With the outcomes, we have been experiencing that with the university, if you do well in your academics, there are possibilities and chances that you can be retained as a tutor, for example, to tutor other undergraduate levels if you are in your postgrad levels. There are many chances of you to volunteer and be given certain positions on campus to help and assist where need is needed. And also with the academic qualification that you get from the University of KwaZulu-Natal, your chances of getting employment are more higher out there, because in the market sector, we know that you're required to have better qualification and recognized qualifications. And for today, that will be all that I can bring to attention, because we basically ran out of our time. But for us to keep in touch, you will have to speak to your country chapters. You'll have to speak to the people that have been before you on this campus. That will be your country representative, and you also have the ISA leadership on all the 5 campuses. They will put you in touch with the international office and corporate relations. If you need assistance with housing, they will guide you. They will provide tips on how you must proceed on those ones. If you need counseling as academic counseling or personal counseling, the ISA and the international office will definitely guide you to the right person. Thank you, Kolisa. I don't know if there could be any questions. Welcome to take them.
Thank you so much, Steve. I really enjoyed that presentation. Thank you very much. Well, I'd like to take this opportunity to just thank everyone for joining us today. I hope all your questions have been answered, and you're leaving the session feeling empowered and knowledgeable about your stay at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. I'd also like to thank our presenters for making themselves available today. Your time is truly appreciated. Thank you. Well, everyone, thank you for joining us. We're ending off this session with a virtual tour of our campus and the city of Durban. Over to you, Kwazini. Thank you so much, everyone.
Greetings, everyone. Thank you so much, Kolisa, for such an amazing session, and to everybody that spoke. So right now, we'll go to a bit of the fun stuff. So some of the exciting stuff for you guys to have a look at. So you can experience as best as possible virtually, have a look in on the city, or actually 2 cities, because our university campuses are spread over 2 cities. One of them is Durban and the other is Pietermaritzburg. Really amazing cities to study and live in. And then we'll have a quick overview of some of our campuses, so that we can just show you around. Cool. So this is a view of what the Durban city looks like. And guys, to those of you who don't know, so Durban is the 3rd largest city in South Africa. It's an incredible city that's known for its beaches, its amazing climate. So yeah, there's a lot to offer in the city of Durban. And this video will give you a quick rundown of some of the exciting things that are there.
Standing on the world outside, caught up in love and slide, stuck still, colorblind. I be like, hoping for a black and white. I gotta be locked up by you, gotta be mine. Feel it fall from the skies above you. Wait, you know in the dark, the blue tide's running me under. Are you my soul, my heart, pull everything apart? Are you gonna be my love? Are you gonna be my love? Are you gonna be my love? Walking on the clouds alone.
How amazing was that? That was our city of Durban. I know that it was absolutely incredible. You guys would have seen a lot of interesting and exciting things in there. So if that doesn't get the blood rushing and boiling for all of our international students, then very few things in this life will. But that was absolutely incredible. And then now, so we'll just show you guys the second city. So just so you know, I'm sure you know this already, but I'll just emphasize it or reiterate it. So UKZN has 5 campuses, and then we have our Howard College campus, Westville campus, Medical School campus, and our Edgewood campus, and that are all based in the city of Durban from the video that you just saw. And then one of our other campuses is the Pietermaritzburg campus, which is based in the city of Pietermaritzburg. And then I'm going to give you guys a quick look at a video of PMB as well. So those are the two cities that you guys will be studying at. And we are really, really excited as an institution to have you guys joining our university, which is the university of choice. Other people call the city of Pietermaritzburg as the city of choice as well, and the Durban city as the warmest place to be, which is quite interesting. A couple of attractions, I think it will be useful for me to talk you through a couple of the city attractions that we have for Durban. There's just a lot that we can get done in Durban, but just some of the highlights or some of the main things that are available in the city, cool stuff to check out. We have Oshaga Marine World, the Moses Mabhida Stadium. Oshaga Marine World is an amazing shipwreck aquarium that's just by the beach as well, which is really incredible. There's Moses Mabhida Stadium, King Shaka International Airport, Durban ICC, where a lot of events occur. We have Durban Botanic Gardens, Durban Paradise Valley. And the amazing thing is that we have some integration programs that are in place as the Global Engagement Office, that you guys will have the opportunity to do some city tours, have a look at some of the city attractions. We had a lot of fun last year doing some of the stuff with a lot of our international students. So it's always great and fantastic memories. And for Pietermaritzburg campus, we have a couple of attractions as well, like the Valley of 1,000 Hills. We have the Mahatma Gandhi statue for you to check out. There's amazing race course, Scottsville race course as well, which is quite popular. Maritzburg Golf Club, there's a lot, and Howick Falls as well, which is really good. And then just quickly, because I know that we're short on time, I'll open up the interactive map, which is an animated simulation or representation of the city of Durban and the city of Durban and a bit of PMB, with our 5 campuses and their proximity towards each other, and along with some of the other cool stuff that are in the surrounding areas as well. Let me just screen share again quickly. So here is a view of our international map. So as you can see, I'll just show you. So this is the medical school campus that has been producing quality doctors for over 54 years now. So it's an amazing top range medical school, the Nelson Mandela Medical School. And then we have our Howard College campus here. So you'll see that the medical school campus and the Howard College campus are not far from each other. So they're actually in quite close proximity to each other, sharing a city, which is quite cool. And then I'll show you guys a sneak preview of each campus in just a bit. I just want to give you an overview. And then we have our Westville campus, which is still in the same city as the other 2 campuses, and our Edgewood campus as well. So Westville campus, Edgewood campus, Howard College campus, and our medical school campus, all in the same city. And then we have our Pietermaritzburg campus, which is in the city of Pietermaritzburg. And then as you can see, it's about 78 or 80 kilometers from Durban or from this campus. So just as an example, I'll give you a virtual tour of our Westville campus. So this is to give you, okay, let me just hide this. So this is to give you like an aerial view of what our Westville campus looks like. As you can see, we have some of our main buildings there. I'm just trying to figure out some of the entrances from this view. But you'll see that one of our main student residences are the Oval residence on Westville campus. And let me just click this to give you a view of this. So this is directly from the Oval residence. And then you can see some of our entrance. Let me just go. So these are some of our sports grounds and sports facilities and sports centers. So some of the entrances are coming down along this road. And then you have all of our student residences. So this is the Oval residence. So this is, which block is this? So some of the P block residences are here, O block. So all of these are student residences. And this is how close they are. So they're actually within the university premises, which is fantastic. And then here is the Graduate School of Business. As you can see, if we had more time, then we'd be doing a deep dive on each of these, but unfortunately we won't have the time. But you guys will be able to see virtual tours when you go on our UKZN website. You'll be able to see our campus tours. But this is the quad area that you would have seen, where there's a lot of life and buzz that's happening in this area, where the university cafe is here. So the student cafeteria would be here, and then all around, you can also just have a quick view of the cafe area. What you can do, visit the UKZN website, and please, I encourage you, have a virtual view and experience our campuses and everything from there yourselves. But yeah, that's it from me. Thanks.